my first acquaintance with Ray, not with Mr. Ray, but with his work, was when I was a student in National School of Drama, where I didn't think that I will ever be a film actor. I had joined the drama school. Looking at myself in the mirror, I thought I won't be good for films, because films needed a certain kind of chiseled faces, etc., and I didn't have one. Till I saw Satyajit Ray's film, because we had a film appreciation course in the in the National School of Drama. And I saw his characters, and they were ordinary looking. I said, damn it, even I can look like them. So that was the first revelation to me, that it is not really, because the only cinema I was exposed to was the commercial cinema in Punjab. There was hardly any other kind of cinema which one was exposed to as a college student. And then, much later, I had the opportunity to work with him after I did Akrosh. He happened to see Akrosh, and Govind Yanani brought a message from Calcutta that Mr. Ray wants to take you in his film. And I was extremely excited. He said, you should call him. So I called up, and I was shivering on the telephone, and I couldn't say very much. Dada, this is Om Puri here. He said, oh, well, I'm glad you called up, and I want you in this film. Are you free around this time, etc.? And everything was organized, and he sent me the script. And first time I met him was at Raipur, where we were shooting at the railway station. Me and Dr. Mohan Agashe, both of us, we traveled from Bombay. And one expected that somebody from the production should be on the station. So I peeped out of the window, looking for somebody would see us and come to receive us. And I just froze with a bag in my hand, because it was Satyajit Ray himself on the railway station at Raipur. And how can you not spot him? Because even if there were 1,000 people, all necks were here and his neck was above everybody else's neck, because he was 6 feet 4 inches. And I really, that moment is very dear to me, and I was very touched that he personally came to the railway station. And then we went to the hotel. I think barely he gave us 15 minutes, and he knocked at our door saying, may I come in? So we saw again, this man trying to he had to lean, because it was not Calcutta where he has 10 feet door, 10 feet high door. It was a Raipur hotel, which had only 6 feet high door. So he had to bow down and come in. And we just jumped, both of us, me and Mohan Agashe. What he wanted to know is, would you like to use a moustache for the part? I said, Dada, it's up to you, whatever you say. So he sat down on our bed and he said, and took a pen and paper, and he made a little sketch, and then he saw with moustache, without moustache. He said, okay, you have a moustache. I said, fine. Now these were, couple of images, and I remember the first shot. Though I had worked in about 12 films before Sadgati, and I had done about 50 plays, but I was under awe. I'm sure he could sense that. Maybe that was one of the reasons to relax his actors. He came personally to the railway station and came to our room in the hotel, so that he should put his actors at ease. They should feel that there's no need to fear of Satyajit Ray. Psychologically, I'm sure it must be one of the reasons. Anyway, first shot I remember was a very simple shot, that I'm supposed to be coming in to the door and ask for agun, a piece of coal, burning coal, for Dukhi to smoke. And he said, Om, you walk in gingerly. Now, this is 10 years ago. I'm sorry, I didn't know the meaning of gingerly. And I looked puzzled. So I said, what's gingerly? He said, well, instead of saying hesitation, he gave me a physical example, which is a wonderful quality of a great director, that if you give a real example from life, There's nothing like that, which in acting terms we say as if. So he said, well, you must have seen a dog or a goat try to get into the door and, afraid and not sure whether to come in. Now, if he had said hesitation, wouldn't have given me so much. But when he said goat and a dog, which I had seen many times in life, so instantly I became a goat. And I had no problem. So the first shot was taken. And then he said, okay. Now the first take, okay. Then again I was puzzled. I said, Manida, are you sure? Was it okay? He said, of course, yes. Why? You didn't feel all right? I said, no, I just wanted to. I was thinking maybe he'll think, oh, this is an actor from Bombay. Itni auqaat hai inki. So I was unsure. He said, look, I mean, you don't worry. I mean, if you want to take another one, but I think it was okay. And then there's another incident, like a lot of people had said, and I had read, and I think it was a total myth, that whatever he had written on paper was ultimate, and he will not change. I think he was a great improviser also. He would do all his paperwork, but yet he is open to anything which is relevant, which fits into the total scheme of his film, and which enhances his theme. Like, for example, one little shot where this woman, when I asked for Agun, this was the next shot, she throws callously at me, which she did, even in that shot. But then I said, Dada, can we have one more? He said, why? I said, if she throws, now this is the tricks of the actors, that you want to look for a gesture. Now when she threw a goal, she did throw callously. It could have fallen on me, but I wanted it to fall on me. So I said, can we do it for that? He just took a second. He said, I know what to do. Okay, fine. We'll have another one. So I told Geeta, I said, please see that it falls on my feet. To enhance emotion. Though the coal was not really hot and burning, it was all pretense. So it gave me a gesture to say, oh, as if I have burnt myself. So he was open to, these kind of things, which was extremely wonderful and I found him very warm to the actors. And we had little, I won't take too long. We had little incidents, like I was very afraid to talk to him. You couldn't be casual with him because he didn't give that impression. At the same time, if you had anything to ask him, he was always affectionate. He never avoided anything. So I asked a very simple thing, Dada, do you like fruit? You don't like fruits? Because I never saw him eating fruit. I don't. The only fruit I like is guava. I said, Dada, what's guava? Now, he didn't know Hindi. He didn't know Amrud. So we were stuck. Then he said, you've seen Patha Panjali? I said, yes, I have. You know that old woman, what she eats and the child brings? That is guava. I said, oh, Dada, you're talking about Amrud. These kind of little things. And remember, he was also naughty. He was quite naughty. Like Geeta, my colleague in the film, one day, we were sitting after the lunch and she said, Maningda, why don't you wear kurta pajama? It looks very good. It will look very good on you. And he was smoking his pipe and with all innocence, because, I can imagine his expression, etc. So, yes, but Manalson wears it. He wears it. I found that moment that here's a man with total lack of hypocrisy. He has me and Nasir, for example, we pick on each other like that. So I think they really had a wonderful relationship. It's just some buggers in the media. I'm sorry, I don't mean all. Overdo these things and sensationalize. Because I think he had a wonderful sense of humor. which was again a very reserved way. I mean, he wouldn't laugh like, like we laughed, ha, but he would have a very, very quiet sense of humor. Well, he was naughty once again. Has anybody heard Satyajit Ray calling names? Any of his friend? Dhanan Babu? Apni sune chen? Nah. There is a recorded, see, Nimai Ghosh, who's worked with him, is a still photographer of his, who's been with him for last so many years, I think, maybe 20, 25 years. Now, he has a wonderful collection of his photographs. Beside that, he told me that he also records him sometime, his instructions, his talks on the sets, etc. So, Nimaida told me once, he said, we were filming a shot where there's a piece of jaggery and Manik Babu was taking a shot and an ant is supposed to climb on it. So he was waiting for this shot, all set, and they left the ants there. Now he's sitting. This bugger will try and climb up with his two little mustaches, do this, do that, and then climb down. He would wait. Then again he starts climbing, so he is again ready. When he did it about 3 times, he said, Dutsala. So I think occasionally he did call names also. Well, every time I went, I visited him. He was very warm, very affectionate to me. But I used to feel, I never sat with him more than for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I just had a cup of tea and I wanted to go and sit inside with Sandeep because I felt that he was one man who was always doing something or the other. I said, I will ask him casual questions. How are you manning that? Did you see that film? Or I'll be wasting his time and he must be on some creative work. This was always at the back of my mind, and that is my respect for the man. Well, incidentally, he also gave me one lunch. Think he was a bit of a conjuice, perhaps. Because not many people have had lunch. Certainly not Shyam Benegal. He made a whole long documentary. I'm sure he never gave Shyam a lunch, but I had a feast. 4 kinds of fish. Maybe I was considered a Brahmin or what? No, because I think Shyam has mentioned in his article in Sunday somewhere that he didn't want to waste his time on trivialities. And people would bore him, I'm sure they would. But he was never rude. He would just not encourage you. But he wouldn't be rude. He wouldn't say, all right, sorry, I've got to do some work. No, he wouldn't say that. But he will be very subtle about it. And he would mean to say, look, if you have any business, please come on. Otherwise, let's do our jobs, which I think is a perfect attitude for a man of his stature who is involved in a creative activity. Now, I have one thing against which I'd like to voice here is Aajkal. There's a newspaper, Bengali newspaper called Aajkal. I came back from LA because City of Joy was released there. When I came back, I heard that they have been publishing some reports while Mr. Ray is ill and he is struggling with his life in the hospital, that me and Shabana, we have been nasty to Mr. Ray. I don't consider it a newspaper. I think it should be used for toilet paper, frankly. And I have the power to do it. I will pick up the whole staff, put them in a boat, take the boat into the deep sea, and make a hole in the boat and get into another boat and come out. That's what I do to Aajkal. Because the way they've been writing about me and Shabana, about Mr. Ray, it is not an insult to me. It is an insult to this great man. Now, the Bombay film industry. Some film star known who also is aspiring politician, Mrinal Sen told me that he read that Shatrughan Sinha has said in screen that Om Puri and Shabana Azmi have blackened our faces. One, that they never consider me one of them. And I never consider them one of me. So there's no question of owning me. Now, beside that, is I would like to ask the film industry whom he represent. Actually, not an industry. I have written a couple of compliments for them. It should be called Film Shopping Center, Film Bazaar, or Film General Store, the commercial film industry. They didn't have the courtesy to close down their shop even for one day when this man passed away. I like to ask the industry. This is my reaction to that statement. Now, it's a myth, as I said, that Ray will stick to his paperwork, which was not true. The whole rain sequence in Sadgati, for example, was not planned. We couldn't afford to have artificial rain, so the scene was not supposed to be shot in rain. But the day we were supposed to do that scene, Smita Patil, she was supposed to go to New York. That evening, she was supposed to leave Raipur, go to Nagpur, catch a flight, go to Bombay, take a flight to New York. Because there was a India Film Festival in America. This is that time. Now, in the afternoon, immediately after lunch, he was sitting around and suddenly Ray looked up and he said, clouds. Now, I remember he jumped from his chair and he stared at the sky for about 10 seconds. And then he just went mad. I worked with him for 12 days. I didn't see him working like that. He just went in Bengali, he said, trolley, whatever trolley they had, whole trolley. And the whole logic was, which later I understood, was he wanted to film this scene in rain. Now, why he wanted the whole trolley? It amazes me the instinct, which is very rare instinct, the fact that suppose halfway through this bloody rain stops, which is unpredictable, where will he bring the rain for the other half of the scene? So he wanted to shoot the whole scene in one shot. And believe me, this is what happened. He took 3 takes of the same scene and the rain stopped. And my close-ups were done with artificial rain because it was just a close-up. And he's lying down and somebody had a branch of a tree and was pouring water with the lota. Now the man could foresee. Now his sense of anticipation, I think, was absolutely amazing. Then another touching moment I remember is when there's a scene when Dukhi breaks down. He himself was handling the camera and the shot was this much. And Dukhi's been working whole day, he hasn't eaten anything, etc. And so he breaks down. He took the shot and there were villagers around, they all clapped and they all liked the shot and he was also very happy. But then he walked up to me, he said, "Om, what were you doing with your hand?" I said, "With hand, Dada, I was clutching my stomach." He said, "Clutching your stomach?" I said, "I thought, the man is hungry and he's crying, so his stomach must be hurting. So I was just pressing my stomach." He said, "Oh, that's nice. But I'll loosen my frame a little. Do you mind giving another shot?" I mean, I was so overwhelmed in the manner he said that normally for an emotional scene, you have to really, for 5 minutes, you have to concentrate and, think of the circumstances and then, you charge yourself emotionally. But in the manner he said, it was so tender, so warm. "Can I take another take? This was brilliant." I said, "Sure, Dada." And immediately he went back a little, he loosened the frame a little so that he could see a bit of the arm. And he took the shot and it was as good as our last one. That was his affection, that was his humility, humanity or sensitivity, whatever you may say. I think that's all I can say. And last night, I called up a friend. I said, "I want to read a poem or something," and I couldn't really find time, or didn't occur to me that, is there anything? I said, I don't want to mourn him because I don't really consider that he is dead and he will not die. I mean, for me, Chaplin is not dead today. Tagore is not dead today. And it's unfortunate that, this is part of nature and we have to accept death. Uh, so but is there something which says something like that? And this Amkeren, 11:30 at night, he knocked at my door and he gave me these 4 wonderful lines, I think. Lives of great men all remind us we must make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time. দেখা হবে মানিকদা।